Now, if you're asked to use 4 counters and make 5 different numbers using those 4 counters, how do you go about doing that? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that really easily. First thing you do, if the question asks you to use 4 counters, you got to decide, hey, what kind of counters am I going to use? Remember, you can use objects, shapes, animals. It's your choice. And for my example, I'm going to use stars. And so now we got to make 5 numbers using these 4 counters. Okay, so let's start with our HTO table. And all you got to do now is figure out where to put these stars. Because look, if I put them all in here, in the 1 spot, what number do I get? Well, I get the number, let's see, 4. I get 0, 0, 4. 0, 0, 4. And you know what? Zeros in the front, we don't need them. We just get the number 4. Okay, so that's one number we can make with it. What's another number we can make? Well, I could put one of them here and I could put 3 over here. What number does that make? Well, that makes 0, 1, 3. You know what? I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to go like this. How about I take these 4 and I move them over here? What number does that make now? Let's find out. So I got 0 here, so I put 0. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've got 0 here. Make sure to show the zeros. But you know what? If the zeros come at the very front here, you don't need it. So what number does that say? It says 40. Now look, it's the same number of stars. I just moved them over into a different place value. And I could take those same stars, I can move them over here. I get a completely different number now. What number do I get now? I get 4, 0, and 0. So does that mean I could scratch these 2 zeros out? No, you can't scratch these zeros out because they're not at the front. They're at the end here. But these ones here were at the very beginning. You could scratch them out there. But this makes 400. So you see what we've done here. We've taken 4 stars. I put them in different spots. And I've made completely different numbers. Now the question says make 5 numbers. So I got to make 2 more numbers. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 1 star here. And I'm going to leave these guys here. So what number do I get now? I get 3, 0, 1. In other words, 301. I need 1 more. So how about we do this? Let's put 2 here, and we'll put 1 here and 1 there. And now this number says 211. So 211. 211, just like that. And that's all you got to do with these here. Now look, you're not going to always get the same answers that I get, because look, if you decide to put the star here or leave 1 there, you're going to get a different number. But as long as you write it down properly, you've got the right answer. And the fact you're using only 4 counters, that has to be true every single time if the question says so. Now it says here, what's the largest number you can make using 5 counters? So let's see here, what kind of counters? Oh, I got princesses. Again, from Super Mario. I love that game. So I'm going to use some examples from it. So I've got 5 princesses, and I've got my HTO table, and I got to make the biggest possible number. Well, how do you know what's the biggest possible number? Is it by putting lots of 1s, lots of 10s, or lots of 100s? The biggest number is going to have lots of 100s. Because remember, the 1s and the 10s, they're not worth very much. The 1s are little tiny Elmos. Nobody cares about them. The 10s, yeah, they're worth a little bit more. But the 100s, they're big. They're flat. They got lots in them. So I want to make sure that my princesses, I'm going to make sure all of them, I'm going to line them up right here in the 100s. That's going to be the biggest possible number. The more I can jam in here, the bigger my number is. So the answer now is the biggest possible number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0. That's it. Now look, if you put 4 here and I move this, another spot, all of a sudden you don't have the biggest possible number because now you've only got 4 of the 100s. It doesn't matter how many 10s and 1s you've got, 5 100s will always beat out any other number that you can make with these counters. And here we got, what is the smallest number you can make using 5 counters? So let's think about this one a little bit here. Always use logic when you do these kind of questions. First off, what kind of counters? Oh, okay, we got princesses again. HTO table. Now, use logic. The smallest possible number. I don't want any hundreds. If I want a small number, I don't want any hundreds. I don't want any 10s either because, the 1s are what I want. I want small numbers. I want numbers that aren't worth a lot. If I put all these princesses over here, what number does that make? Makes the number 5. Now, you might be confused here. If you're putting zeros, okay, that's fine. We can put 0. Here we could put a 0. And here we could put 5. But remember, if the zeros are in the front, they're gone. I just get the number 5. Now, what happens if I put, let's say, a princess over here? Let's say, okay, I'll put 1 here and I'll put 4 there. Is that the smallest possible number? The answer is no, because now we've created a different number. What is this number? It is 0, 1, 4. Zeros are gone at the beginning. We get the number 14. Of course, 5 is smaller than 14. So we're going to put them all over here. So to review this, the biggest possible number means I need the most hundreds I can get. The smallest possible number, I'm going to need lots of 1s.